Hey guys, Marissa at kitchentablestamper.com. I've got today's mystery card for you. This beautiful card was one of my team swaps. So Kitchenettes, the Stampin' Up team, my Stampin' Up team, we swap cards every time there's a new catalog release. And this was one of the gorgeous cards that I got from one of my team members. This is Julie's card. This is the cards that you'll get if you join the Kitchenettes team and swap with us. We love to swap cards. It's really nice to make cards for card makers and to use those supplies and get back a whole bunch of great ideas. I asked Julie if I could use this as our mystery card for today, and she told me go for it. And I am so glad to share this one with you. So it's a really cool, fun fold. It's kind of got a peekaboo inside. And to do this one, you're going to start with Garden Green. This is 8 3/4 by 4 1/4. Let's get the Simply Score tool. And we're going to score this one on the 8 3/4 inch side at 3 1/4. So it's kind of like a hot dog card, but it's got a shorter front. Now, let's get a bone folder and some designer series paper. Slide these guys to the side. Our designer series paper is from Painted Christmas. It's 3 by 4, and we're just going to glue it right in the front panel here. Beautiful, right? And then we're going to line the inside because you're going to get a peekaboo. This is 4 by 5 1/4 basic white. I'm going to stamp my Merry Christmas greeting. I'm going to stamp my Merry Christmas greeting right in the center so that the peekaboo will hide it using real red ink. This greeting inside and outside is from Christmas to Remember. So we're going to use love and joy come to you, and may it last the whole year through, and then Merry Christmas on the inside. Beautiful. And I love the font. It's cute, but not cutesy, and it's just my speed. All right. Let me go ahead and glue that one into the inside of our card now. So that'll go with liquid glue right down on the inside. We're getting there. All right, I cut a couple of pieces ahead of time. Let me show you those. I've got from Real Red, the largest stitched scallop rectangle, and that's from Stitch So Sweetly. And then cut from Evening Evergreen, I've got this kind of middle size label. And this is from the Seasonal Labels dies. Now you can order the Seasonal Labels dies and the Christmas season stamp set that we're going to use. When you bundle these two products together, you can save 10%. I'm going to start with my Real Red stitched scallop. I've got a piece of basic white cardstock here. This is 3 5/8 by 2 1/2, and it'll fit perfectly on this Real Red label right inside the stitches, so we won't cover up that gorgeous detail. And now we can adhere this to make the front of our card. So we're going to adhere this just on the back left side of the card. Make sure that you don't glue your card closed. You only want your adhesive on less than half of the back side. And then you can put this just a little bit, it's just the tiniest bit right of center, and then centered up and down. And there it is. There's our fun folds. Think of all the great ways you can decorate this kind of card. I've got my Evening Evergreen label here. I'm going to emboss the Love and Joy greeting. So I've got some Versamark ink and some gold embossing powder. I'm going to get my image all inked up, or my greeting all inked up, and then sprinkle with embossing powder and heat. And get the ink out of the way. And then I like to put my embossing powders in little to go like takeout containers or Ziploc containers, because then you can just sprinkle right over the container and all the excess returns right into the container, less mess. So I've got a little tiny spoon, and we'll just flick the excess right back into the container. And now we'll heat emboss. I like to use a clothespin when I heat emboss. You got to keep your fingers safe. So I'll hold the edge of the label with my clothespin and then heat to emboss using my Stampin' Up! Heat tool. Look at that. Isn't that magical? I love the change, the embossing. If you weren't a stamper before you saw heat embossing, you probably were after you saw heat embossing. Isn't that great? Now, something I'm gonna show you. My embossing powder isn't as smooth as Julie's is. My embossing powder is probably about 8 years since I've replaced it. So just want to show you the difference there between the two. Embossing powder does go bad and it doesn't melt as smoothly when it gets old. So I'll be replacing mine. I don't know if the camera is picking up the difference, but Julie's is really smooth, and mine, even though it's heated completely, has a little bit of a rough texture. And that's what happens with embossing powder. You do need to replace it from time to time. And I just hadn't had the thought to buy it because it's always been there, like in the cabinet waiting for me, right? So replace your embossing powder from time to time for best results. And let me get my ink and Stampin' Pierce mat. We'll do some more stamping. All right, so first I have real red and soft suede, scrap of basic white. We're going to do our sprigs. Now we need 3 sprigs, and I did 2 ahead and die cut them. We'll start, I found it's easiest for me to start with the stem. I'm going to do it with soft suede and then to line up the berries. So I like to do it in that order. There is no right or wrong way. It's just what works best for you. And I got to get right up above it to see the placement. So I'm sorry if my hair goes in the camera. Sometimes it does when I try to get right above the image. But I really want good placement there. And then for our leaves, let me switch colors. I'm going to take away these. All right, for my leaves, I have Granny Apple Green and Pear Pizzazz. And it took me a couple of tries to hit on this combination that Julie came up with. I loved how light and fresh the color combination was. It took me a couple of times to figure out what that was. So pay attention to this color combination that Julie used for leaves. What isn't one that I would have thought of, but I absolutely love it. So for this guy, we're going to go ahead and stamp our details of the leaf in Granny Apple Green. So this is the shadow of the leaf. We're going to stamp that one first. And then we're going to stamp the full leaf in Pear Pizzazz. But we're going to ink up well with Pear Pizzazz, stamp off lightly, and then stamp over the green. And again, this is the order that I find it's easier. I like to do the shadow and then line up the rest of the leaf over it. I feel like I get a more accurate 2-step stamp that way. So just a little tip, you try it and tell me if it works best for you that way too, to do the shadow and then the rest of the leaf. All right, so then there's our beautiful, fresh, light greenery. It's such a great color combination. I love swapping with other stampers. That's what comes from it, is that growth. I would never have done my leaves like that. And as a matter of fact, I thought that her leaves were Granny Apple Green and Garden Green, and that's where I started. So to work into a completely different color combination was really exciting for me. All right, let's cut these guys out. We're going to use that same die set, that Seasonal Labels dies. It also cuts out all these gorgeous greenery images. So we'll pop on. We've got our platform 1 and 2. And then this is the seasonal dies. It's got all those great labels, but then all these little cutouts to coordinate with your Christmas season stamps. All right, so we got these little outlines. Let's line them up and cut them out. All right, there's our greenery and sprig. Beautiful, isn't it? Let's get our sample back in here and our card and finish up this gorgeous Christmas card. Got some Stampin' Dimensionals and some multi-purpose liquid glue. To finish this up, I'm going to put a few Stampin' Dimensionals on my label. And now I can kind of dry fit that. I'm going to take the back of my leaves and just add a little bit of glue at the stem and the base of the leaves. And I'm going to hold the label in place and kind of just slide the leaves where I want them to land underneath the label. And that's how I will adhere all 3 sets of leaves and berries. And we're going to do 1, 2, 3 corners, and then we'll put some ribbon in the lower corner. All right, last one, a bit of liquid glue and tuck it in. Really is gorgeous, isn't it? Bright and cheerful. Now we can get some of the ruffled ribbon. This is mini ruche. Or mini ruffled ribbon in real red. I'm just going to cut a couple of inches off. I just fold it in half, cut a nice strong angle, and then we can adhere that down with a couple of mini glue dots. We can peel and stick our label now. We're aiming for right in the center there. I think I got it. And last, we're going to embellish with these wonderful gems. These are a return from last year's holiday catalog. I love these. They might have kind of flown under the radar since they're not a brand new product, but they really are such a beautiful shimmer. They're a clear faceted gem with gold glitter, or a red faceted gem with kind of a holographic or an oil slick glitter in there. It throws off multiple colors. Really gorgeous embellishments. I'm going to do just like Julie did and add the gold ones, although the red ones would be gorgeous too. And we're going to do a little triangle. One big one and 2 little ones. Haha, perfect. What a great card. Thank you so much for the inspiration, Julie, and for swapping with the team. We love that. Here's my Merry Christmas. Love and joy come to you, and may it last the whole year through. If you've got any questions about the project, email Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. I'm here to talk to you if you've ever thought about joining Stampin' Up too. Reach out with any questions you have. We'd love to have you on the Kitchenettes team. And to shop Stampin' Up 24/7, buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.